You're at the stage now where you're going to try out some of your ideas in a trial run. Basically, what you're going to do, you're going to collect three sources that you think are good for the topic or the question that you've chosen, and you're just going to assess them. Um, Sometimes what we find is that there isn't enough information on something that a student wants to research, and it's best to find that out pretty early on. Hopefully, you've already thought about this, but maybe you haven't had a chance to have a good look around. So that's pretty important. Has this research focus got enough information? And in fact, sometimes you might find the opposite, that it's got too much information. You might say, well, I can't actually deal with that at the moment. I'm going to have to change my question a little bit. Another thing we want to find out is if you're really interested in your topic. Sometimes people think, oh, yeah, I'd really like to develop my understanding of this. And yet when they start looking around, they go, no, maybe not. So you're going to do three online sources just to kind of suss this out. Another thing you need to have a think about is, can you develop a good question from your topic? The information that you find out in a minute might well change your mind, and you might say, well, I'm not actually sure that I can get a good question out of this. And another thing we're going to have a look at is your understanding of online sources and how you go in terms of analysing those. So here's your chart that you're going to fill out. And the idea here is that you pick three online sources. They can be, an article, a website, a YouTube clip, a blog, a forum, whatever, as long as they're online and they're sort of easily accessible, basically. And then you're going to write down in at least 100 words for each source what each one of these sources tells you about your topic. All right. Now, then what you're going to do, you're going to work out how reliable these topics actually are. And to do this, you're going to use a document that you've got on this step called Evaluating Online Sources. So for each one of your three sources, you're going to go through and you're going to answer these questions. This is actually gold dust here. It's taking you through step by step ways of looking at sources and being critical about them, which is crucial for the research project. So it gives you various questions here. Is it a personal page or site? Remember to read this stuff over here on the right hand side, because that will guide you through. By authors' credentials, we're talking about their sort of qualifications, their expertise. It really is important. All the stuff you see, well, nearly all the stuff that you'll see, is produced by somebody, and you need to know who they are. You need to know why they've actually produced whatever it is that they've produced. What is their purpose? Let me just give you a bit of an example here. Let's say I'm interested in what motivates terrorists. Um, you see it on the news so much, don't you? And you go, why are these people doing this? Why do they want to kill other people and then most of the time kill themselves? So, all right, so I'm feeling a bit lucky. So I go to Google and I go, right, here we go. Here's an article. What does a modern terrorist look like and what motivates them? Now, one of the first things I do before I start reading is actually looking at who produced it. So I've got an author here, and he's got qualifications. He's the director of the International Security Studies at, I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to find that out. I think it's the UK newspaper, the Telegraph. All right. So one of the first things I do before I read, I go, So who is this guy? Raffaello Pantucci. So I've got some information here. He's an associate fellow at the International Centre for the Study of Radicalisation at King's College London. Well, that's pretty high up in the academic field. He must know what he's talking about. Let's find out a bit. Oh, he's done a book as well. All right, let's find out a bit more about him. Okay. one of the big tips is to always go to the about bit of any website. Okay. So he's got all his writings here. He's a think tank researcher working between Europe and Asia. Oh, now here's what this is. The RUSI is the Royal United Services Institute. His work focuses on counterterrorism and radicalization issues. All right. So we'd probably say that this guy probably does know what he's talking about. So, and it looks like it's his sort of personal opinion in this article. He's not just reporting facts. He's actually giving you his opinion about what he thinks, which is pretty good, really. So that's probably quite a reliable source. Let's have a look at this one here. Now remember what we do. The first thing we do is we go, all right, who produced it? I can't see who produced it. Is there anything here? No. Got a couple of adverts here for books. I can't see. And now you see here are danger signals. I'm not saying this is wrong at all. I'm simply saying we don't actually know who produced it. Now this is interesting. So they're asking lots of questions. He's referencing the Bible here. Seems to have lots of opinions. The bottom line here is we don't know who wrote it for what purpose. So we've got to be really careful about the information that we use. Very, very careful indeed. All right, so here we go. Fill out your sources, find them. This can contribute towards your research if it works. Some of you might feel, no, I think I need to change my direction. It doesn't matter at all, whatever. You put this in as journal entry 8, and then on this step, you've got journal entry 9 to fill out as well. Remember to do the evaluation of the online sources for each one of these 3 sources